partying on a hot summer evening in Chicago. But take a closer look, because this isn't Chicago. This is Qingdao, China, a major resort city on the Yellow Sea, directly west of South Korea, with a population of over 7.5 million. And by the way, that's a medium-sized city by Chinese standards. I'm convinced this stunningly beautiful city with a European flavor will soon be a must-visit destination for American tourists.
Hello, I'm WGN-TV reporter and anchor Nancy Liu.
A man is facing drunk driving charges.
Police are hoping a new composite...
And while I've worked all over America and the world, I'm a Chicagoan now. But I was born in Hong Kong and came to the U.S. as a small child. When Chicago resident Helen Yang invited me to accompany her on a 10-day trip back to her hometown of Qingdao, I jumped at the opportunity. During the next half hour, you can join me on that trip and experience what many call the Asian Riviera.
After our 13-hour flight, we arrived in Beijing and caught another flight for a shorter trip to Qingdao. From the air, I can already see it's a beautiful city. And it's easy to understand why it's also called the Switzerland of Asia. Checking into my hotel was a breeze, and not because I speak Cantonese, which is pretty useless in this part of China where everyone speaks Mandarin. No, it was easy because so many Chinese speak English. The Intercontinental Hotel is very nice, upscale, and my room was quite comfortable. The hotel was built to house athletes for the 2008 Olympics. More on that later. But Qingdao, like most big cities, has accommodations for every budget. I was way too keyed up to sleep, so I went out to explore, minus the Chinese video crew. I'd be meeting up with them tomorrow. Here's a quick look at the unique food and signs I captured on day one with my camera. If some of the signs amuse you, it's because sometimes things get lost in translation. The next day, the crew guys arrived and we got busy. One of the first things you notice in this city is the German influence. It's everywhere. Especially at the German-built International Club, a popular hangout for students. There aren't many Americans in Qingdao yet, so I was happy to find a couple and get their impressions.
Qingdao is a place where you can see history. You can see the German influence, you can see Europe, but you can also see China.
The road that we are currently on right now, which is called Xianggang Lu, it's actually in German called Kaiser Wilhelm Road. This should give you an idea of how much German influence is here in this town.
With the brats and the beer, you'd almost forget you're in China while hanging out here. 谢谢你, if not for the Chinese waitstaff. There's good reason for all the German influence. Qingdao was just a fishing village in 1897 when German troops stormed in and took it over in retaliation for 2 German missionaries killed elsewhere in China. But they also understood its strategic military importance. It was a deep water port that never freezes. The German occupation ended in 1914 when Japanese and British troops surrounded them and forced a surrender. But the Germans had left much behind. Let's start with a massive steel military bunker called Lookout Tower on Qingdao Hill. As historian Li Ming explained to me, all the cement, iron, and steel required to construct this cavernous underground structure was imported from Germany. It could provide shelter for 2,000 troops,
with 50 rooms, 3 levels, and 22,000 square feet of space. The mechanical periscope, pre-built then shipped from Germany, was designed to allow a 360-degree lookout and weighed over 17 tons. Ironically, this command center was never used during World War I, and it is the only intact World War I site in Asia.